Okay, hello everybody. My name is Leslie Williams, and today's date is September 2nd, 2017. I am a target, victim, and activist concerning the continued criminal expeditions of what is known as gang stalking. And it's not stalking by gangs. I strongly suggest you stay with this video. Now, my fellow American citizens, I created this Periscope account in order to inform, to expose to the public and to my fellow target individuals who hopefully will stumble across this account. Okay, so that the public at large and my fellow target individuals can take the information that I expose within this Periscope account and research my statements by their descriptions at Google and YouTube. And when I say research, I mean extensively researched. The second reason why I created this account was to make videos for lawyers and or law firms. Okay. And the third reason why I made this account is to expose what has and is currently occurring towards me as a direct result of me being a target of this crime, and to make predictions about what may occur concerning me and or my property. Now, you can go into this Periscope account and watch my videos so you can see why the necessity and the strategic purpose of my prediction videos are done, so I don't have to regurgitate all that in this video. Hold on. Periodically, throughout this video, I will be doing that in order to make sure I'm still live broadcasting. At any point in this video, if this video abruptly stops while I'm in the middle of talking, before I say thank you for listening and have a good day, still research what I've stated up to that point and what is incorporated within the title of this Periscope video. I will discuss that in a second concerning what I did incorporate in the title. But what I'm going to do right now, pertaining to the links, but what I'm going to do right now is introduce to you why I also wrote within the title of this Periscope video, Walking Tall Exposed. Now, before I segue into any of this, I'm going to make a fast prediction, okay? As a result of being a gang stalking victims are tracked at all times in real time, GPS tracking and covert physical surveillance, so they know where the target's at. And this is done for overt and or direct harassment and staged events. Staged events in gang stalking criminal expeditions are called street theaters, and that term can be Googled and YouTubed. All my descriptions in this video can be Googled and YouTubed as well. So as a result of me being a gang stalking victim, what I do in part to counter to respond to it legally is I make predictions about what they might do before they do it, and then if they do it, I can then fold that current evidence onto every single other thing that I have ever predicted, and 99.9% of every bit of evidence I got has literally been predicted before the evidence transpired itself. For being in the area. If anybody starts coming on the property or congregating anywhere around the property while I'm making this video and or at any time in the next 72 hours, it will be gang stalking, period, end of story. Now, so what I incorporated within the title of this specific Periscope video are two links, which I'll discuss in a second. And on top of those two links, I wrote Walking Tall Exposed. Now, the reason why I did that was for many reasons. One, to throw out my verbal respect to the actual individual who was a real sheriff, who the movie's Walking Tall was based on. He was a sheriff that literally existed. I believe he's dead now. I think his last name was Buford. Okay, just hear me out. So, the reason why I'm making this, the reason why I decided to incorporate that in the title of this Periscope video are for two: to expose how it's connected to my statements, and to give honor and respect concerning his legacy. You can, at any time, go to YouTube and type in Sheriff Buford Walking Tall, okay, documentaries, and you will discover there are videos online showing that the individuals that the Walking Tall movies were made about, okay, were about him. He was a good guy. He was a good cop who tried to make a difference, okay, and suffered immeasurable retaliation for it. Now, why did I also, what's the second reason concerning why I incorporated Walking Tall Exposed in the title of this Periscope video? In the second movie, Walking Tall, okay, I don't know if there's part 1 and part 2, like Walking Tall 1, Walking Tall 2, but I do know that I saw the movie Walking Tall with that big African-American guy who's real muscular. You could probably watch it on Netflix or Google Play, or probably even maybe YouTube. You can at least look at the YouTube trailer that's on YouTube by typing in Walking Tall. It would be, because since I think there's 2 videos, like Walking Tall 1, Walking Tall 2, I am referring to the first one. Now, that is in reference to a movie, okay, and the person who plays the sheriff in the movie is a tall, he's a well-known movie star. He's made a lot of movies. I just forgot his name. He's a really tall, big, muscular black guy. And anyways, the reason why I'm bringing this up, okay, is because in that one movie, I don't know if there's 2 or not, so let's just say it's the first one. In that movie, it literally shows this sheriff, okay, literally fighting against organized crime in his community that was directly connected to the sheriff's department of that same community. And the organized crime in the community that he was fighting against was connected to everything. Every type of crime motivation that you can think of in reference to. Well, you'll see it when you watch the movie, if you decide to watch the movie, but I'll mention one of them. And that was where the organized crime individual that he was targeting was running casinos. Excuse me, please. Now, the reason why I decided to incorporate this theme, okay, into the subject matter and how it may relate to the also incorporated tweet links, the tweet link and the YouTube video link that I also encompassed in the title of this Periscope video, is because we as Americans, we as humans, no matter what country we live in, need to become aware of and informed concerning specific technologies that are out there that are being used not only on gang stalking victims, but also members in the community without their knowledge, their conscious knowledge. Now, you can be a gang stalking victim without the community-based harassment, and I've talked about that in my other videos as well. So again, feel free to, go into my other videos and watch them. Now, psychotronics is the name of a specific type of technology that is all over the internet, being exposed as being one of the names of some of the technologies. It's like an umbrella term. Okay, when you type in at Google and YouTube psychotronics and you research it extensively, as well as the other names of the other technologies that I'll expose in this video, you will see that these other technologies, pertaining to their descriptions of them, fall under this umbrella pertaining to what psychotronics are. Now, what psychotronics, the actual word psychotronics, let me break that down for you here, so you can see how that term, why that term is used in reference to what I'm exposing. So here, pay close attention to my statements. When you look at the word electronics, break that down. Electronics. Now, you know what electronics means, right? Okay. So let's take a look at that word just briefly. Electronics. Electricity, tronics. And the tronics part usually means a physical object that houses something that uses electricity, like a TV, a computer, a phone, and so on. So the tronics part is the actual physical mechanics, okay, that makes up the actual apparatus, okay, that electricity runs, computers, and so on, right? Now, what is the psychic part of psychotronics, or psychotronics? What is the psycho part of psychotronics? Okay. When you look at the word psychology, Psychology is a word that also is kind of like it has got a bunch of different meanings, all depending on the the subject matter of why it's being talked about. Psychology classes, the psychology of the human thought processes, emotional processes, and so on. Now, human beings, every human being obviously has a brain, okay? And what the brain is responsible for in part is to process our thinking, our brain states, our emotional states, our conscious deliberations, our unconscious deliberations, and so on and so forth. Okay. And as a result of the way human beings operate in general and personally, based on that, based on a specific person, the way I operate, the way you operate, okay, that's kind of like personal psychology. But psychology in itself as a word can be thought of in general as, okay, that it's like what encompasses psychology in reference to the study of human beings. Now, part of psychology absolutely has to do, mostly has to do with the functionalities of the biological systems, which also absolutely encompasses the brain states, thought processes, emotional states, and so on. Okay? How we think, how we respond, how we feel, how psychology is part of how we respond in the community, of how we interact with family and friends, and so on, based on how brains operate and based on how you as a person, okay, functions as a result of your brain being used in order to function within society based on who you are as a person, the way you think and feel, and so on. So psychology, the part of psychotronics is an abbreviation of the word psychology. So how can psychology and electronics, psychotronics, work together? Now, so what I'm going to do is right now, I'm going to name the name of 3 books that are all over Google, okay? And when you do research concerning psychotronics and gang stalking in books, you'll see there's hundreds of books that have already been written about how psychotronics and remote neural monitoring and B2K, voice to skull, and the silent sound spread spectrum or the silent sound spectrum, the microwave hearing effect, you're going to automatically be able to see that there's literally hundreds of books all over the internet that you can buy concerning the technologies that are being exposed, okay, as far as these technologies being implicated, being used on gang stalking victims, okay, on the internet. Some of these technologies have also been exposed on national radio shows, national TV shows, and marginally in local news broadcasts. So the name of these 3 books are Remote Brain Targeting by Renee Pittman. Now, I just recently discovered she has, I think, right now, 4 other books, and she's working on the 6th. Okay. So there's another book is called The Invisible Crime by Mike Picciubel. Another book is called Electronic Torture, Electronic Rape, Technology, and Gang Stalking at the Post Office, written by Jewel Crayan, Krayyan. Now, and the reason why I decided to incorporate the names of those books in this particular video was to help you immediately see that look. There's books out there, free of hundreds. When you research the terminology, psychotronics and gang stalking, and the names of the other just mentioned technologies, when you extensively research my statements, you will see truth. And that is the reason why I'm introducing these things to you, so you can take what I state, research each description, cross-reference the material that comes up in order to be able to synthesize it into a holistic understanding pertaining to how these technologies are being used on the human neurological and biological systems by organized crime. You can go to Google at any time and research how remote neural monitoring is being used in order to influence human beings' decision-making concerning gambling. when we look at the features of V2K, voice to skull, and then when you research voice to skull and voice cloning, I discussed that in my other videos. I'm going to briefly talk about it right now, but you can go again, you can research my other videos to see more in-depth descriptions concerning this technology pertaining to voice to skull and how it works within remote neural monitoring. They can literally take a copy of your voice print, like you hear me talking now, and they can put it in a computer. This computer is a mainframe. Within the mainframe computer, okay, has remote neural monitoring and other technologies that work together in order to use the features of each specific technology to work. So those features of those technologies will work hand in hand with the capabilities of remote neural monitoring. Remote neural monitoring is a technology that can monitor you neurally from a remote distance. As a result, they can literally neurologically hack into the neurological systems of the target individual's brain. Literally. Now, what's part of the human brain is the audio cortex and the visual cortex. The audio cortex basically is a part of your brain that processes everything that you process internally when it comes to your internal speech, like the speech you hear in your mind when you're reading a book. Okay, and it also is the area of the brain that hears anything that you hear through your ears. Okay, and all your internal thought processes as well. Now, when you are processing your internal thoughts, your audio cortex hears it. Okay, as a result of language, your voice print processing your verbal thoughts internally. What these little wild, demented, criminally insane animals will do is take your voice print, which is basically the sound of your speech, and put it in a computer. As a result, they now are able to then use the same computer to create structured sentences. And basically, that's all your thoughts are structured sentences using language. For instance, let's say if you have a need today to go to a specific store to buy a specific item. For instance, say that you're going to say to yourself internally, today I'm going to go to McDonald's, get something to eat, go to the bank, okay, and then to Sears or Walmart or whatever. That's an internal thought using language, using structured sentences that are composed of words, right? So what these little demented animals will do, and that's all they are literal demented animals, and they will never change, ever, under any circumstance. What they will do is create structured sentences using words that are for psychological direction, meaning that structured sentences that produce an action or inaction. Okay. Now, why would they do something like this? Because, I'll tell you why in a second. But the reason why this is done is because they want to influence your decision making about what to do and or not to do in any given situation, or to get you to behave certain ways in order to monopolize them. Now, the way they do that is by creating these structured sentences, okay, and then typing them in a computer. The computer will then, once the sentence is structured, transmit using V2K, which is voice to skull, meaning that it is a sound of a voice being transmitted to the skull for the audio cortex to hear. And what they're doing is they're taking the target's voice print, the sound of their voice, and using that sound, okay, as the structured sentence. Meaning that right now I'm saying, I am going to go to Walmart to buy a tin. They can create that using that target's voice print and transmit that sound into the target's audio cortex. As a result, the target believes they're having a thought. Okay? Now, they can also streamline video images or a still frame image in the visual cortex. Okay, to complement the thought. Okay. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because if you have an individual who works hard all day, works hard all week, and on the weekend he might start feeling a little bit antsy, he might start feeling a little bit bored, and somebody's infiltrated his life. Because social infiltration is a huge aspect of gang stalking. Intimate infiltration, family infiltration, and they'll infiltrate your life at work, at churches, charities, anywhere, grocery stores, anywhere. And they'll cultivate friendships and relationships. And one guy will enter another guy's life, and he'll say, "What are you doing this weekend?" "I'm thinking about going to the casino." Now, this is a proven guy who's got money, and he's always made healthy choices in the past concerning what not to do and what to do with his money and what not to do. But let's just say he just broke up with his girlfriend. He's down and out. Okay, this guy calls him up and he says, "Well, I'm going to the casino, or I'm thinking about going to the casino. You want to go?" "I don't really like doing that kind of stuff." And he says, "Well, all you got to do is bring $20-$40 with you, or what I'll do is I'll give you $20 for your birthday, okay? And let's go." So he goes with him. So he goes down there with him, and he spends the $20, okay, that his friend gave him, and he wins, okay. Now his brain can be stimulated, and thoughts can be transmitted in his mind about continuing to gamble, okay, under the as a result of his brain being excited and stimulated with B2K, intentionally transmitted structural thoughts, while images of I can win all, images of a huge amount of money can be played out in his visual cortex. So let's just say he starts thinking to himself, "Yeah, I can. All I have to do is play at this table, okay, one more time." And then while he's thinking that, a little image will flash in his visual cortex of a stack of money. Okay, and this is done to make him believe that he's having a thought in the hopes of winning. You understand? Okay, while his brain is being stimulated, okay, to be anxious, okay, to feel happy that he just won, to feel excited, okay, and this is the neurological, literal manipulation that these filthy maggots are doing. You understand? Now, why is it on the internet that remote neural monitoring is being used to influence people for gambling? Now, the reason why I brought this up is because it's already on the internet that it's being used for gambling, human trafficking, getting people to make purchases at businesses as well. You understand? So, my fellow American citizens, say if you got a community that, because all communities in the United States. All right, sorry about that. Hang on a second. I gotta. I might have to end this. Oh, my phone stopped charging. Okay, while I was making this video, so I don't know if it got interrupted at all. Okay, but I might actually get cut off because the phone was it's plugged into a charger right now, but it stopped charging. So right now I'm at a very low level of charge in my phone. Okay, I'm at 5%, so I'm gonna have to cut this off. So I might make a second video in order to complement this one. Okay, so let's see if anything happens while my phone is charging. So I apologize for this. The phone was at 39% when I started making this video, and now it's at 5 while the charge is working. So how did that occur? Alright, so my fellow American citizens, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop this video, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to let the phone charge for a couple hours while I'm doing some other stuff, and then I'll make a second video. So this is video 1 of a 2-part video series. I've given you, and also look at what is incorporated within the title of this Periscope video, especially the YouTube video, because that's going to enhance my statements that I've already made. Okay, and the tweet link has to do with a target individual that's being gang stalked, okay, in Oceanside, California. And also look at the snap screenshots that are incorporated in that tweet concerning other victims talking about being gang stalked at Vons, Rouse, and Kroger's. 3 places I've been gang stalked at as well. Bonnie is being gang stalked. Whatever you hear her state pertaining to white cars pulling up around her, just Google vehicle harassment and gang stalking, color harassment and gang stalking. That's some of the methods being perpetrated against her. Just Google it and you'll see she's telling the truth. Okay? And then research grocery stores and gang stalking, Vons and gang stalking, Kroger's and gang stalking, Ralph's and gang stalking. Okay, which are the names of 3 businesses, grocery stores that are involved in gang stalking. They'll deny every bit of it. Alright, so I'm going to stop this video because for some reason this phone is not charging. Let's see if anything occurs towards me while the phone is charging. Let's see if anything happens towards me today. Assaults, threats, robberies, arrests, tickets, being forced off the property for any reason. I don't care what it is, it will be gang stalking. This is the first video of a 2-part video series. Do what I tell you to do and you will see truth. Thank you for listening, everybody, and have a great day.